See, I have a habit of looking at this instead of talking to the person.
You're watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another special edition of SKST Radio. And today we have Dr. Ron Smith. Dr. Ron Smith is a business coach, family coach, personal coach. I mean, he does it all. And he has took SKST under his wings and he's decided to help us out a little bit. And in exchange, we're going to grab everything that we can from this man because he knows his stuff. He knows what he's doing. He has the experience. He walked the talk and lived the life. And Dr. Smith, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's my pleasure being here.
Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. So tell us about yourself, a little bit about yourself.
Well, I have a business degree in business management. I have a master's in divinity, and my PhD is in philosophy. Married, two adult children, three grandchildren, and career-wise, United States Marine Corps infantry captain, was a federal agent, special agent with the FBI, and did some special work overseas. One of the things that I like doing is travel to different countries. Not too much into different countries' food, but I'm learning to adapt. But travel, running, reading, and really just getting to know people. And one of the things that I really like is reading biographies and autobiographies.
Nice. So how did you decide to become a coach?
Well, when I was a child, my grandmother told me, "Boy, you're going to be a teacher." And I said, "No." And throughout my whole career, I found myself teaching and coaching. When I was in Marine Corps, I was a platoon commander. As a platoon commander, you have to train your Marines. I had, 40 odd young Marines, and you have to train them how to be Marines after they leave boot camp. So when I went to the FBI, I found myself being on the SWAT team training other law enforcement and police officers. So everywhere I've been, even at my church, I find myself teaching finances. So everywhere I've been teaching and having personal interaction with people. So it's almost like, duh, you've been doing this all the time. So why not just focus and concentrate on that? So one of the things that I know for sure, that I have I wouldn't say abundance of experience, but I have a few experiences. So I like to share that with. And main thing that I am focusing on now is finances, because that's one of the things that in the minority community we don't talk enough about.
Exactly. So with your experience and your skills, I would like to call you a serial coach because that's what you do. You know, you see a person's needs and you evaluate it, and then you're able to figure out, exactly what they need. So I see that in you because of what you've done for SKSG so far. And so I just want to thank you, on air, in front of the world. Thank you for seeing our needs and being there for us. We really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate it. So what are your goals now? So are you doing this full time, or what are you actually doing right now?
Well, I am actually creating a online course, and the online course is really seeking individuals who are interested in transforming their lives. And one of the things that I try to reach people who are, and the essence of my course is I want to get people to understand that basically, if they have dreams, goals, and aspirations, there is a process to actually taking the unmanifest to the manifest. And one of the things, especially in finance, one of the things that I found out that uh, I had left a lot of money on the table by not understanding how finances work. And I give you a case, for instance. Uh, there's different options other than, most people when they get a government job or military, they think it's only a 401k or IRA where they can invest their money. I try to show them other options that will be a little more stable than what they can get out of a mutual fund, because that's what the IRA and the 401k focus and concentrate on. And I try to give them that there's other investments vehicles, like insurance, and like having real estate is one of the things that I'm in. I'm a real estate investor and also a property manager at the same time. So here's one of the things that I try to share with a young person. Okay, even if you're living with your parents, start saving for, let's say, a down payment. Start working on getting your credit score corrected. Because one of the things I think is a disservice for a college student with a credit card without employment. To me, that's setting them up for failure.
Right.
Now,
that happens all the time, right? I mean, isn't that one of the main things that they get you in that trap is them giving you a credit card while you're in school?
and see, that's is almost like the same way they tell you that you should be able to invest in a mutual fund without giving you a stock information, or stock training, or bond training, or any security information. They it is set up for failure in my point.
Exactly.
So what I want you to do is that even if you don't think that you're ready for, well, I can tell you let me show you the technique I want you to talk about immediately for real estate, for example. If you don't have the down payment and you know of other friends that are in the same situation that they're living at home, why not create a crowd fund for a down payment, 20% down on a conventional loan? Let's buy a duplex or a quadplex. And you're pretty much, now you are a business. Let's say you are stakeholder holder in the community. Stakeholders in the community even go back to the beginning of the Constitution, and I could go on a tangent about the Constitution, but the Constitution really was designed for ownership. And I don't want to go too far out in the weeds, but people who own property at that time was the ones who have stakeholders in the community. Even now, if you have a home ownership, and that's the reason why it's one of those things that I think is important, but at the same time, I think a multi-family unit will work best for you. Let's say two of you got together and bought a quadplex. You rent out the other two of the units, and you live in the other two units. Two things are going to be the most expensive things that you're going to purchase: a home and a vehicle. So now what you do, you set up a property management company to take over that building. So now you're in business. So now you're a business owner by just doing that one simple thing. From that point on, you set up your own property management company to set up on that thing. So there are so many advantages for a business owner than a person who just have a wage owner. So that's the simple way that I get a person, especially what you can do it while you're in college. Especially if you find a unit that you can transfer over to a multi-unit place. And it's one of the thing about real estate, it's not going anywhere. And God is not making any more real land, so to speak. So initially, I just tell you that would change. That's a paradigm shift for you. While you're in college, you're paying on your mortgage and you're building equity in that. So let's say if you do that your first year, by the time you graduate your senior year, you can either refinance and you could buy another quadplex. And the beauty of this is what I try to get people to understand is that uh, in a quadplex, you can get a conventional loan. If you go above the quadplex, that it calls for a commercial loan.
Okay.
So the same down payment that you would pay on the house, you could pay for a quadplex that would pay for itself.
Nice. Nice.
So that's one of the hacks that I try to share with individuals, and I try to get their parents to in on it, because basically, if they cannot come up with the initial down payment or find someone of like mind to actually do that, that's an immediate hack right there. You solve two things: you're in business and you're a property owner.
Right, right. But see, to me, I start looking at the little loopholes, right?
Okay.
So it sounds good. However, what if I'm involved with someone that is not really a trustworthy person? Now I'm into this business with this person that's really not trustworthy, and I'm stuck with making the payments and all this on my own, and I really can't afford it. So,
Okay. Now, what you mean stuck, as in you still have a non-paying roommate
mhm.
and you're not renting out to other units?
Well, you can't afford it at this point, right?
Well, well, you okay?
So if your roommate's gone, you don't have the finances to help you.
Okay, we're talking about a quadplex.
Yes,
Okay, so we're talking about 4 units.
yes.
So now you're renting out 2 units. Okay, so normally, let's say if I have a, let's go with $250,000 to $300,000 property,
Okay.
my mortgage more than likely is not going to be more than, it's going to be less than right around about $1,200 per month. So let's say that I rent out the other 2 apartments for 700 or 800.
Okay.
That will cover my mortgage as well as cover any other incidentals.
Gotcha. Okay.
See, that's the beauty of it. Long as you have at least 50% occupancy. See, that's the difference from having a single family home
Mhm.
compared to a multi-family home. And at the same time, you are in business, so all the business expense that you incur, the power, the water, the roof. If you need a plumber, like most people say, I don't want to be, property manager because somebody gonna call me because the toilet is stuck in middle.
Right. Right.
Well, being a business owner is start expanding your sphere of influence, as well as the people that you meet. You'll start meeting electricians, you start meeting plumbers, you
Right.
start meeting other different people, because it gets you out of your comfort zone of just being just being a student or being a young person. And I can guarantee you that if you come to your parents with a plan like that, they will help you support that.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So that's one of the initial things I say right off the bat, because housing is one of the major expenses that you're going to ever come up with. Now, if you structure it right, like as an LLC or corporation, the vehicle is the next most expensive thing that individuals will come. Now, there's ways that you can use that the vehicle or part of your business.
Mhm.
That's another write-off.
Mhm.
So everything that you do, even your education, let's say that basically now I'm if I was an English major, now I'm taking some business class just because now I'm in business.
Mhm.
Those courses can be written off also.
Okay.
So there are so many things that you can do as a business owner than if you just have a second job. And the thing about it is you are empowering yourself.
Right. Right.
And then you start meeting other entrepreneurs. And then you start meeting other people who are in business. And see, that's how it is expanding. I have a friend of mine's son right now. He's in the state of Alabama where the property is maybe a little less expensive.
Mhm.
But right now, he started about 4 years ago. He has 40 properties now.
Wow.
And we talk and interact. Now, my thing is that uh, I like multi-family homes because of the reason that example that I gave you is because the advantages, even at 50% occupancy, you still able to meet the mortgage note
Mhm.
and meet other expenses that you have. In a single family home, you don't have that option.
Gotcha. And that's interesting. That's interesting. So I guess people don't really think about that when they're looking What about flipping though? What about when they
Okay, now
homes
see,
to flip?
flipping is I love flipping, but what you have to be careful of, you don't want to create another taxable event.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is capital gains. And capital gains is at the highest percentage rate. And we're talking about immediately. So let's say if I flip 3 houses this year, my income would be over $250,000. And my point is, okay, if I don't do a 1031, which is that if I don't transfer that money that I made into another piece of real
Yeah.
estate, even equivalent or higher, then I'm
They're
taxed at
Yeah.
at the highest tax
Yeah.
rate. So you have to be careful of that. So most people see HGTV and see a 40 minutes after the commercials of a person going through all this and coming out with a large sum of money at the end.
Mhm.
Well, part of it is that they don't talk about the labor costs.
Mhm.
They only talk about the equipment and the stuff and the furniture that they had to put in there.
Mhm.
If you notice, they never talk about the labor costs.
Mm.
And labor is the most expensive thing that you have besides the increase of the supply chain with the material costs.
Mhm.
So if you notice that, there is no line out on that TV telling you what the labor costs in there.
Wow. Wow.
So you got to be careful.
Right. Right. So, Dr. Smith, so what is the goal now? Are you looking to get new clients, or what are you working on right now?
Okay, once I build my online course, I'm going to start marketing an online course, and then I'll be looking for individuals who are interested in being transformed, because it's a process. What I just told you, it sounds good, but what I will walk you through the whole steps of what I just said. Almost like the HGTV television show, but I have a whole 6 weeks, so you can ask me questions. I'm gonna show you outline how we can come up with a plan for you, because a lot of people might not want to do real estate. A lot of people, and if, let's say, if you still want to not you want to invest and you think 401k, you can live with that, I could teach you how to do a self-directed 401k
Okay. Okay.
that you couldn't get in real estate, that you don't have what most people think is a headache. So, and you can use the money that you already put in. But there's some other things that I will show you, because one of the things, last week the market turned red, and I think it might go up this week. And a lot of people say, well, I don't like gambling. And I'm thinking, you really don't understand the stock market if you don't like gambling.
It's a gamble, regardless.
It's a gamble, and it's paper money. The reason I say it is paper money, because if you got, let's say, $200,000 in your portfolio, you almost have to say "Mother may I" to get it out, and there's a 10% penalty if
If you
for
get out
early
too early.
withdrawal.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's other instruments that I'm not going to give away the secrets right now, that I think are much better than that.
Wow. Wow.
So after the course, that we take a look at what specifically is designed for you. And the thing about it is that I did, between the Marine Corps and the federal government, I had over close to 30 years of work experience,
Mhm.
where someone else's was managing my money, to the point where what I thought I had and what I end up with was two different things.
Wow.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
I've talked to other people who have retired, and see, the thing about it is that there's some things you'll find out on the other side.
Gotcha.
So those are the experience and the things that I talk about when I talk to individuals, whether it's in the group or individually.
Right.
Is that there's some things that let me see your last annual 401k statement,
Right. Right.
and I can tell you, okay, and I share this with you. There's a management fee, there's a handling fee, there's other administrative fees that you are wasn't aware that these guys are taking annually out of your 401k.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why they have 2 houses and you only have one.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. I recently switched over to a different company with my 401k, and I started thinking, well, my financial advisor, she gets paid. Then she works for this company. They get paid. Oh no, they're not taking all my money. So
Well, what you get is what's left on the market. And um, one of the things that keyword that you need looking for, assets under management.
okay.
Okay, what do that mean to you?
Assets under management means what's left that the management company is going to be taken from.
Where's the growth in that? Wouldn't you
There
want
is no
somebody?
growth in that.
Exactly. And that's my point. But most people think that I have almost like I have a broker. No, you don't have a broker. You have somebody who just managing your money,
Right.
who's whether the stock go up or go down, they getting paid,
Regardless.
and you're not. And so the point is, let's say that you got a hot tip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hot tip. Want a hot tip?
Yeah, give me a hot tip.
Okay, Boom Airlines saying that basically within the next 10 years, you'll be able to go internationally in 4 hours. Now, on face value, that sounds crazy, don't it?
Yeah.
Okay, how crazy it was back in I think it was 95, when Bill Gates said every individual would have a laptop, personal laptop. If you could go back to 1995, it would cost like $10,000 or $15,000 to have a computer, a desktop computer. That was crazy. And I'm thinking, there's no way in the world that I would have a
Phone.
phone
Basically a computer.
that is more technology in this phone than it was on Apollo 1 that went up to the moon.
Wow.
So that's how crazy when I heard this one of the founders said basically that. So that's a tip for you.
Wow.
So
Interesting.
and I got another one for you. My one of my mentors, he's deceased now, Bishop Lewis. He said that Cox Cable knocked on his door to try to get him to buy a stock in the Cox Cable, and it's got to be like the early '80s. And he said, "Why should I buy stock in a cable TV when I can get it for free?" Imagine if he had bought 10 shares.
Yeah, he'd be rich.
He'd be a multi-million. His family would have a legacy of being millionaires now.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I teach is that time is invaluable, and that's the reason why I was trying to get trying to work with some young people to get them to understand that if you invest from 25 to 45, you would make more money than if you started at 35 to 65.
Right.
Now, it's a lot of reason for that. And one of the things I tell them, don't get so infatuated with that, for the simple fact that inflation has a lot to do with that.
Okay.
But what I also tell them, $1 million is $1 million. If you get $1 million in a let's say a financial instrument, is worth more than you gambling on your 401k.
Right.
Which means that if you retire in the wrong year, you're going to take a huge loss.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I tried to educate, some of the clients and potential clients of what I can offer them. It mostly from the schools of hard knocks, because I lost a lot of money with the stocks.
Right.
I lost a lot of money with not doing some opportunities. And there's some things that they can do, like I said, in the 20s and 30s. And if they reach the age in the 50s and 60s, that they will be able to leave a legacy. One of the things that we don't talk enough about is actually insurance. We get renter's insurance, we got house insurance, we got car insurance, we get all that. But there's and I talk about whole life. There's some things that you can do with a whole life policy that you can't do with a term life. But the thing about it is that if you only think about the death benefits of a life insurance policy, then you're missing the whole thing.
Wow, interesting. So, Dr. Ron, we got to go. However, I want to talk to you again because this is like good stuff. How can people reach you if someone wants to ask questions about our article today?
Well, you reach me through the studio because
Okay.
I'm here
Okay.
on a weekly basis, and I really appreciate the relationship that we have here. And by the way, this is definitely a good place to, uh, if you have a business, to branch out and come and be a part. You might even want to think about doing a podcast. We have podcast training. We have 4 studios here, and uh, right now you can get on the ground floor of a lot of things, because one of the things I like to share with people,
Sure.
timing is so important, because right now where you have the availability of getting educated, and the more people who come in, that's going to lessen the time and the window that you have to
Absolutely.
be to express yourself creatively and to branch out in your business endeavors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you for that plug. Shameless plug here.
So
Love
you can
it.
you can reach me here. This would be
Okay,
the
so yeah,
perfect.
you can reach him here. You'll just call our line and email us on our email address, and we'll make sure that he receive all the information, guys. So thank you again, Dr. Smith, for being on the show. This is not your last time. We're gonna have you on more because you have a wealth of information. You have a wealth of knowledge, and we can't buy that.
That's
You know?
true. Because I haven't. I like to do some personal life coach things that I like to talk about. But one of the things, and I know we got to wrap it up. Uh, the thing about it, if your attitude is right, the facts don't matter. I'm gonna let that marinate a little bit, because sometimes life throw you a curveball.
Mhm.
But if you know that you have your spiritual and internal strength, and you have a network of family and friends that will support you, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you going through, the doctor could give you a diagnosis that's wrong. It doesn't matter if you try to get into a bank and they keep turning you down. It really, those just the facts. But what you do with those facts is having a mentor or people that you could talk to who went through those things.
Mhm.
That will determine your life and your and the outcome more than what the facts are.
Right. Absolutely. This guy is phenomenal. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, guys, this was a special edition. Until next week, right here, SKST Radio, baby. Booyah!